my family was essentially in a lottery pick.
Jeez.
You have no way of a source of income, so you got to figure that out. 30 days, 45 days to move out of a country to a brand new country.
Like you just did, at least this is what you told me, 20 million.
Right.
And then you have 10 million in real estate.
Right.
That's insane.
I got into this depressive episode and I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And after ghosting my friend for like 30 days.
With a fat, expensive loan, which interest starts to pick up in about 5 years.
Like they want it all done for you, but those are the guys that you don't want to work with.
And we're just looking at them right next to us like, who the hell are these people? And why are so many people taking photos of them? First time in America, and we're looking at the skyscrapers, and people are just flashing cameras at these people. We thought we were the celebrities. Then we figured out later on that we're next to the New York Knicks. We had nothing, but it felt like we had everything at the same time.
Dude, thanks for being on.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Pumped all the way from Utah.
All the way from Utah, now we're in Jersey, you know.
It's so random.
So awesome, but I mean, it later started off, I think, with the friendship on the pool table.
Dead?
Yeah,
Dead.
$20 on the line, which I think I still won.
Which actually thinking about it for the past couple of minutes, I think I did win that.
All right.
I mean, we can pull up the Venmo receipts, but...
I think it was cash to make it even better.
Oh, okay.
No, so I think
Whatever you
still
say,
won.
whatever you need.
No, he probably didn't win, I'm not gonna lie.
No. But I appreciate you being on, man.
Of course.
I feel like a lot has changed like since then. A lot of growth, and it's fun. It's fun to see like where you're at and where everything's changed.
A lot changes, I think, month by month, and especially in 4 years, a lot has changed, I think, in both of our lives. I mean, you're now in Tampa. I'm still stuck in Utah. I don't know how you left, honestly.
Stuck is a strong word. I miss that place, man.
I know, I love it.
Tampa's good, though. Don't get me wrong.
Tampa's good. I would love to come out there. Let's do it.
Let's do it. But yeah, man, I mean, before we just get into that whole 4 years, just like everything that's happened, because obviously it's been a lot, for the audience's benefit, you have a super unique story that I don't feel like gets shared enough. Just like you're 23 years old.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 23 in like a week.
Right.
And it's fun. I mean, obviously we all like grow up differently. We get put in different scenarios. People take advantage of things in like different ways, but you've taken it to a completely different level, and it's fun to see, man.
Thank you.
So I'm excited for everyone here, but if you can go into your backstory just before you even got into like door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
At 12, just like how that whole environment was growing up, that whole backstory to pretty much what you're doing now.
I mean, yeah. I think similar to a lot of first-generation college students, my life and the way I was raised, which was an amazing one, right? I mean, I could say we had nothing, but it felt like we had everything at the same time.
Yeah.
I remembered when, so my family migrated from Egypt in 2007. And we landed in New York.
How many are in the family?
So I have 5 older sisters, which is equivalent to about 5 other mothers, you know, for a guy like me, and a younger brother, and he's 2 years apart. And my family was essentially in a lottery pick, and your name would get written on a sticker and a letter, and it's placed on the bulletin board, right? And upon if you get accepted, you have about 30 days, 45 days to move out of a country to a brand new country. But the catch was, we weren't accepted in your regular immigrant or refugee style. Now you're brought into the U.S. with a fat, expensive loan, which interest starts to pick up in about 5 years.
Jeez.
You have no way of a source of income, so you got to figure that out. So when a mother of 7 kids comes to downtown New York, the New York Knicks, I remember this story because my mother was telling me. I was too young to remember this. I was about 4.5, 5. The New York Knicks was right next to us, and there was a bunch of cameras flashing, woo, 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 right? And our family was here, and we're just looking at them right next to us like, who the hell are these people, and why are so many people taking photos of them? And people are just like amused by this. This is our first time in America, and we're looking at the skyscrapers, and people are just flashing cameras at these people. We thought we were the celebrities. Then we figured out later on that we're next to the New York Knicks in downtown New York. But we quickly figured out living in a small studio in New York wasn't the right spot. At that time, we had a family friend who's living in Utah. She said, "Hey, Utah's got to be the spot. Get your kids out of here and come to Utah." So another loan was taken on, and we moved to downtown Salt Lake City in a motel off State Street. You know where State Street is? Not that nice, in a crazy motel. The homeless population at that time was very vivid in downtown Salt Lake. And I remember, we were living off three simple things, man. And not because my mom had a choice, but it was something we had to do. We were living off tuna, bread, and milk. And, growing up in that environment, you would think, oh my God, this kid's life is shit, right? But it never felt like that at growing up. I remember specifically we were at a gas station, and there was a small little red fire truck. And I still have an image of a fire truck in my room. I didn't become a firefighter. I didn't care about the fire department, but it meant something to me. I wanted that fire truck for some reason while I was at that grocery store. I remember my mom used to tell me, I don't have $1 to even buy your diapers as when we were babies, let alone now buy a toy that was $25, $30, right? But she still did it, right? And that's the type of mother who raised me, where she said, no matter what you have, you can make it everything you have, right? So I grew up in an environment where we felt like we had nothing at some moments, but at the same time, it felt like we had everything. That fire truck literally represented a new beginning for me, for somehow, some way. And I remember that as a 7-year-old kid, I'm like, holy, like my mom just got me a red fire truck, right? Growing up, with some kids, they get 100 toys a year, it feels like. You toss her out, you break a wheel, you get a new one, right? You, and so forth and etc. And I remember carrying this fire truck everywhere I went, and still, but, so I grew up like that. So, when we moved out of downtown Salt Lake, and my mom, the first person who knocked on her door was the Mormon missionaries, right? What Utah is well known for. And those people were the first people who found her first job. She was working at Desert Industry, which is essentially DI, and I'm not sure if that's local or is that national. I'm not really sure. Yeah. It's local. So it's essentially like a small shop where people donate clothing and stuff, and they reassemble how the clothing and the fixtures are given to the local community. And she was making $6.28 at that time, an hour, and supporting 7 kids and a fat loan. We didn't know what governmental aid was, so didn't understand Section 8 housing. We didn't understand what food stamps were, right? So we're living, nickels at a time, man. And we finally got this beautiful, beautiful family who came and heard about my mom's story, and they said, how can we help? And it was simple as them buying us groceries, getting us out of that motel to a home. And we've lost contact, but it's my goal to find those people. And we moved to this house in Salt Lake near like the Avenues kind of area. So it was like a nicer community. We didn't fit that kind of Utah family, besides the sizing of our family, because of our income, right? And so at the age of 12, I remember my mom was sitting in the living room just stressed out of her mind, man. Like, how am I going to pay for these bills? How am I going to survive? Or how am I going to make the next meal come to this table? And I'm like, what is stressing? She's like, oh, nothing, sweetie, nothing. And I knew there was something there, and I just didn't know what it was, right? She had this like this kind of barrier, that mom face, where like, I don't want you to know, but I want you to understand like the conditions we're living in. And so I started going to people's doors, and I would knock on there and say, hey, can I mow your lawn for $50, right? 50 in the front, 50 in the back. Absurd number. Absurd number. I don't know what guy would accept this, right? But when you see, I was a pretty good looking 12-year-old though, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure. Well, let's get those pictures later.
Yeah, we gotta get those pictures in there. Sure. And they would say, yeah, sure, why not? But then some of them, if they were nice, they'll toss you an extra bone here or two. But then some of them were just like, no, we're good, and have you kick rocks. But at that time, I remember, I'm like, if I can make $100, all I need to do is get a machine and give it to somebody else and make half the money and put it in my pocket. I don't even have to do this. So I started knocking on people's door.
And how old are you?
Closed them. I'm at 12, right? Yeah. Maybe 12, 13, just finished elementary school, going in my 7th grade year in middle school. And growing up in a traditional household, girls was never a thing. So you got to focus on something else. And my focus was, I'm going to try and make some money. And so knock on these people's door. I'm like, all right, hey, can I sell this product to you? They would say yes. I'd call a buddy of mine and say, hey, go mow those lawns. I'll give you $50, man. I was like, $50? Say no more. So I started doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And, I remember the first time I gave my mom a $600-$700 check, and the tears in her eyes meant everything to me. And $600-$700 was a lot, man. And $600-$700 is still a lot. But to do that, I'm like, wow, I can do a lot more now with more stuff. And fast forward later, that didn't last long, right? Your buddies will figure out, hey, this guy's sitting at home in the AC while I'm busting my ass mowing someone's lawn. So I sat in my room and I said, this is not going to work. I don't like doing this. They don't like doing this.
How old are you at this point?
I'm probably like, I did this for at least a year, right? I'm 14. I'm like, they're not going to cut the
super old.
Super old kid, right? Sure, I'm like, dude, sure. I'm a failure. Yep. My first business is coming to an end. And I kid you not, I remember we had this very fat, chunky computer in this living room, right? Sure. White, old PC, you click on it, it takes about 30 minutes to reboot. And I'm like, holy, like this computer's slow. So you sit there for 30 minutes, the computer's finally on, you finally enter your password, you press enter, and you're waiting on the screen for like another 5-10 minutes for it to, because we didn't have a lot of money, that's the only computer we had in the house. But I would sit there for hours learning on how to make money. What is SEO? What is this? What is that? Blah, 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 blah. And this is where everything changed for my life, honestly. I remember I was at Sunday school. I'm traditionally Muslim, and I remember my Sunday school teacher gave me a book. It was from Daymond John, how he started Fubu, right? How to start basically something without anything. He was selling clothing in the back of his trunk and making, lots of money from it, from New York. A great book, great recommendation for a lot of people to read. And he gave me this book. He said, go read this, man. He said, you tell me, oh, you want to be an entrepreneur. Let's see if you really want to do this, right? Like, go read this book. Mm-hmm. And you tell that to any 15-year-old, it's like you telling them, go hike a mountain for 7 hours, right? I'm not going to do it. Didn't want to do it. He says, all right. He buys the book for me, and he still gave it to me. He says, you haven't read it? Are you out of your mind, dude? Like, why aren't you reading it? I'm like, oh, I did read it. He's like, so he tells me, what did Daymond do when he was stuck in his car? I'm like, he's like, yeah, exactly. You didn't read it, right? So it got me to read the book, and I finally went back to my computer. I'm like, holy crap, man, this guy really did it. And the reason why he gave me that book, he understood my living condition and my family's story. And I started reading this book, and I'm like, dude, I can do the same thing. And that time, a very well-known brand was coming out, and I'm like, well, I can do the same thing. And so I did the same thing. I just put a box logo, placed Arabic wordings on there, and as simple as it was starting to pick up. I learned SEOs, I learned how to optimize this, all from YouTube. Literally from just watching on screens and all that stuff. And I remember every time I was sitting there and I'm clicking these ads, it's crashing, my computer's crashing. I'm like, screw this, man, I need a computer. So I went back to my mentor, I'm like, dude, I'm launching this brand. He's like, all right, tell me more about it. I'm like, this is $1 billion idea, super excited about it. He tells me, I think it's a shit idea, but here's a computer. Because I was asking for a computer. Yeah. And it was as if you gave me $100,000 in cash, right? I'm like, oh my God, I got my own laptop, I'm flexing it to my siblings. And I'm sitting on there, and that's how I made my first 6 figures selling literally this piece of cloth that had words on it.
And you're 16 at this point?
I'm at 16 at this point. We're getting noise ordinance because we're getting the neighbors are pissed off because USPS is coming to our house every hour and a half because we're just shipping everything manually, right? I had the products there. You ship it, you put it in a little box, you send it out, boom, 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 boom. But it was exciting because it was like a small little thing, right, that we're doing as a family and myself. One day I get out of the thing. We sign a warehouse. I remember I bought my mom her first car. I'm like, dude, life couldn't be that bad, right? 16-year-old. I'm learning how to I got my permit, I think, at that time. And I'm like, all right, like the next thing I'm gonna save up is for a car. Like I thought I was the guy, right? And I get home and I see a nice little stack of white paper. I'm getting sued at the age of 16. And I'm like, holy crap, like what the heck is going on in my life? I don't know what that means. All I know is technically my mother was getting sued because her name was on the LLC and so forth. And for some crazy amount that I could never think about in the millions of dollar mark. And I'm like, holy, what the hell is going on? And it was all because of a silliness my family friend aunt kind of did. She posted on Facebook saying, go support this young entrepreneur in Utah. He's doing a clothing brand, and set our story online and massively blew up. Our sales skyrocketed. The amount of likes that were happening was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, we hired on 2 additional people outside of the family. Like, it was the height and yet the destructing factor of our company at the same time, right? What could be so great could be so horrible at the same time. And, you know, fast forward later, we kept selling. I said, you're not going to come after me. I'm going to keep selling. And I didn't understand until that was like a threatening letter. And then when you get a second letter that says you got a hearing date, you start to kind of piss your pants, right? And, we're in front of, I'm in a nice little suit in front of a judge, don't have a lawyer, don't have thing. I mean, we got very lucky and they pretty much tell us destroy your inventory and move on. And it was that exact moment my mother was like, all right, sit down, man. And I'm like, all right. She says, are you doing something illegal? Are you doing something illegal? And I'm all like, no, I'm not doing anything illegal. She's like, what the heck? So I'm taking 40 steps backwards, explaining what e-commerce is and so forth. But that was my journey for there. And now, I mean, we're pretty successful in the e-commerce industry. We've done phenomenal well in selling millions of shoes and clothing, primarily on Amazon as FBA shippers. We've at one point had over 200 Amazon accounts, fulfilling different wealthy individuals who wanted an asset kind of class in that sense, and having their own business. And then about a year ago, we came up with a creative solution on our own funding through real estate, and we've done pretty well so far in a year, I think, in that. And I mean, the journey was crazy, man, and still is. Every day is a 911 call, but it's been crazy.
No, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Actually crazy. All the way from just that young age to where you're at now.
Wild stuff, man. And I think I say this a lot. I think I was placed in a situation where it was meant to be. I think my story is an example of what the American dream is, and the American dream still is. But yeah, it also is a root of what a great mother I've had in my life. And I think another example of that is just some people you surround yourself is really what you are. And that mentor gave me a book, that family who helped our family out, right? There's simple things that truly changes one's life. And I've been blessed and so lucky.
One thing I just like, I obviously your mom is like
right.
Phenomenal. Does she know that you think about the red fire truck a lot?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, she's seen me do a talk. It was my biggest talk I've ever done. At that time, I think it was like 700 people in the crowd, and my mother got a standing recognition there, and I cried on stage. Right? I'm like, I mean, it just meant everything to me to share that, and she showed the photo for the first time in front of everybody when she, like, I had this little truck. I'm like in front of my front yard or yard, and I'm playing with this truck. I mean, it meant just the stupidest thing meant everything to me, but it was truly like the best thing that have ever happened to my life.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I mean, for you too, it's like you're so focused on like the journey.
Right.
Through that whole process, just the day by day, month by month, just taking opportunities as they come to you.
Absolutely.
I mean, you didn't even talk about the like college life as well.
College was another crazy thing. I mean, I started off. I remember when I applied I was in high school, and this was the same time that I think my e-commerce business started to struggle. The clothing brand shut down. I'm like, dude, I launched another product on Amazon for the first time, and I made I think it was like $30,000, man, profit, right? And I'm like, holy, like, I'm the guy again, right? I'm finally feeling that good energy, and my account gets suspended. Section 3, which for a lot of e-commerce, they understand that it basically means you're drop shipping on their platform. And I'm like, are you like kidding me? Like, I've built everything, and yet I'm still just getting wanked and wanked. I'm like, screw this. I'm gonna become a doctor. Because I had 4 choices, right? Engineer, doctor, lawyer, every immigrant family kind of thing. So I chose doctor because I knew there's a lot of money in there. And I registered for the University of Utah, and great school. My mother used at one point. I remember driving every day, and I kid you not, I went to a small public charter school, and before she dropped us off, she would say these words to me like, I help these kids every day. She used to work at dormitories, cleaning and so forth. She's like, I have all these kids move in every year and clean their dormitory. One day I hope to get to move you into your dormitory at the university. I always had that in my mind. And I remember I'm applying for it and I get declined. I'm like, dude, like what on earth is going on? In my senior year, I was a student athlete, had almost a 4.0 GPA, right? Because I was very locked in on school because immigrant parents, you bring an A minus and it's like as if the world ended, right? Like, what's going on, buddy? A minus, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like I came for the American dream for what, right? So I remember I was like very strict about that. I was like super involved, and I was a student body president and so forth. And I remember, my mother, if she figured it out, I was like, she's gonna lose her shit. Like if I was having, she's not a crazy mother, but she's pushing us so that we could be successful. And it was all because I didn't have this math class. And so I went to Slick, paid $30 and took the stupid math 1050, I think it was, and did okay in it, but it got me into the business school. And I'm like, all right, but business school, I want to go into to become a doctor. I cold emailed every single CEO of every hospital in the state of Utah, and I met the CEO of the largest hospital in Utah, one of the largest one, Intermountain Healthcare. And at that time, I was working culinary services, and he was trying to be my mentor and stuff. I mean, I just did stuff that you shouldn't probably be doing. But then it was during the pandemic, and I would see these kids. I mean, my sister is a caregiver. She works in that same hospital, but it's a sad industry, man. It really is. It takes a very special person to be a nurse and a doctor, which I didn't have in me. And I would see these poor kids being in trauma units, and I understood what the level of integrity and love and care that these kids needed, and I just couldn't provide that. So I lasted literally 3 months there, and I said, screw this, I'm going back to the business school. So I got super involved in college. I was very lucky to have a full ride scholarship in the David Eccles School of Business, and I joined a pretty nice program that was like top business school students at the university at the time. I started 4 different student organizations, was part of like 32 different student organizations. I ran for student body president, which I lost horribly on. I was a presidential intern, and my junior year, I remember I was studying abroad in Korea for 3 months, and I've done a lot of random side quests, and I'm like, this is my journey that's calling me. And I go South Korea. I wasn't on social media at that time, and for the first time, I'm like, let me download TikTok. And this is genuinely a true story. It's one of the craziest stories that have happened to me. I download TikTok, and the first video that pops up on my For You page is this lady talking about the scholarship. And it's the Obama Chesky Voyager Scholarship. President Obama and Brian Chesky, founder and CEO of Airbnb, came together and started a scholarship. And I'm like, wow, this seems like a pretty cool thing. The whole thing was about public service. My 4 years in college, I've been dedicated in public service. Even in my high school, I had a project called Captain Underpants. I placed this Captain Underpants across every high school in the state of Utah, and I'll put a bucket in front of it, and people donate free and new underwear, and I'll take that, give it to the homeless shelter, right? and my mother, her only day off, she would do like a lot of like health class cooking and so forth. Anyways, I see this 2 days before it's due. I'm like, whatever, not gonna do it. Close out the app. Some very funny videos I see on TikTok. First time I'm on there, I come back. Yet again, my For You page is just stupid video. Same lady. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like as if I'm like being sent to this. And it's one day now before the application is due. And I remember my roommate Mark at that time, he was like, dude, I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, this scholarship seems kind of interesting. Like, apply. So I go, I'm sitting there, I'm applying. I do this whole thing. I'm not like expecting I'm gonna get this. I don't understand how prestigious this program is. I don't understand what to a level it is. I understand it's a new program. I'm like, shoot my shot and see what happens. I record a video. I submitted, I think maybe an hour before the cutoff. And fast forward later, end of that summer, I come back to Salt Lake. I completely forget about this. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting back in my kitchen at home. And my mom is home, and I whip out my phone for the first time. I'm logging into my university like email after the summer, because the way the program was structured, it wasn't that intense. It was more about culture immersion and so forth. So I really wasn't checking that school email as much. For the first time, I'm checking this, and I see, congratulations, you've been selected for the Obama Chesky Voyager Scholarship. And I'm like, I might be reading this wrong, or I might be just reading this. I'm sitting there, and I read this maybe 4 or 5 times before I understand, like, holy shit, like, I just won. And I just get up and I start screaming. I'm like, I've just won the scholarship, Mom. She's like, what scholarship? I'm like, the Obama Check. She's like, don't you already have a scholarship? And I'm like, now taking 18 steps backwards to explain what the scholarship means. Essentially, it was a $50,000 financial aid scholarship, 10 years of free Airbnb. We got to travel, meet the President of the United States. I was privileged enough to do a talk in front of, I think at that time it was 2,800 people in the crowd. We celebrated their anniversary, like some crazy fun, like a life-changing experience I could never imagine now, and being part of the Obama Foundation is crazy. I mean, about, I think 3 months ago, we were just in Chicago, and he just announced his $1 billion campus that he's building, and just what a historical thing that man has done. And a big role model of mine has always been President Obama, honestly, and to be down in his program. And then another entrepreneur I looked up to, which is Brian Chesky. I mean, the whole thing kind of came together like, what on earth is going on? And so I've been fortunate enough, I think, in my life. I've gotten very lucky several times, and that was another like prime example of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, having those people as mentors.
Yeah,
man. I mean, that's just crazy. It's like you're just like constantly putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna keep doing that, like obviously, like yeah, you're gonna get it. And you definitely got it.
I mean, I think I've shot a lot of shots and I've missed a lot of shots, and I'm just highlighting some of the cool stories and cool parts of my time. I mean, but there are moments that there's a long list as well that I failed tremendously through, losing tons of money to losing some crazy good friends in my past, right? Because of stuff that have happened in our lives, and I mean, growing up, statistically, I wasn't supposed to go to college. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to get a good scholarship. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to be an entrepreneur and be doing what I'm doing right now. And if life was based on stats, my record would be tremendously off record. And I say this not because because I'm lucky, but I say this because, I mean, I think during this conference that we were just at for the last couple of days, a blind guy, right? Sean Callaghy was saying the same thing, where he was a blind guy who made millions of dollars on his company. And I'm not blind, but the reason why I'm saying this is when when you go through adversity, there's two types of people, right? Similar to the flight and fly kind of reaction. In life is either you're gonna kick ass or you're gonna run away, right? And when stuff hits the wall, what do, right? And for me, it's always been, as a family of an immigrant, as a son of immigrant mother, and as a first generation college student, I was tossed adversity after adversity it felt like every day, and but you have to come to a realization with yourself. At what point do you say that's an adversity that I've overcome, and let that not just be your story, but something that you work against, right? Just because if you go surfing, right, you have the waves coming at you, it doesn't mean you can't surf, right? You gotta go at it.
Yeah.
And similar to this, where it's you just can't do stuff just because there's problems in your life. You're gonna have to find creative solutions. You're gonna have to find ways that you've never would have thought about before. So, it's been fun, man. It's been really fun.
Yeah. Switch up the story to your narrative.
Exactly.
Love that. And I think, we have like a lot of people out there that like they want that dream.
Yeah.
They want that dream. I think there's a lot of people that like they're going through those struggles. Like, if you had to like break it down, just couple sentences for like what would you tell them, like in like their hard times or like their like troubled times, to, like get them through that?
I like to say this quote. It's from Albert Einstein, and it goes as following: "Imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attraction." I remember growing up as a kid, my imagination was very vivid, right? Red Lamborghini, Rolex, house, money, smiley. And do I have all of those? Maybe some of those, right? But if I couldn't imagine it, I couldn't do it. If I couldn't think about it, I wouldn't do it, right? So if you can't imagine yourself making $1 million, you will never make $1 million. If you can't imagine yourself being fit and having six packs, you will never be able to be fit and have six packs. I think the core of whatever, you want to be a doctor, if you can't imagine it, it's not going to happen. You want to be a lawyer, if you can't imagine it, it's not going to happen. And as a kid, especially when you're a baby, of course, a lot of that comes from, I think, like I once said, it could be an adversity for some people. If you don't have a great, like I had a great mother who said, like I told her, like I wanted to, like when I had that fire truck, she'd be cleaning the sink kind of area, and I had my fire truck, and I was pretending like I was a firefighter, and she'd put soap on there and spray it, and she'd be like, fight firefighter, fight firefighter, fight, right, kind of thing. She gave me that imagination as a kid that I could be whatever I wanted to be. And, I mean, not everybody on this thing watching this is a kid, but imagine you're a kid who just had his first dream, right? Keep that dream and keep that imagination, because if you can't imagine it, you cannot do it. That's a lot longer than 2 minutes.
No. I mean, just having like the vision for yourself, like if you don't believe it,
right?
No one's going to believe in it for you.
Absolutely.
So like it all comes to you first.
Right.
And then other people will come in and help.
Amen.
I love that, man. Just to like wrap this up before we go into this next segment, we're gonna go over a couple of things. So I think there's a lot of people in the audience too. Like it's a little bit of a younger crowd. I think we're both still like pretty young. I'm about to be 23 or 23.
Right. Old heads.
Old heads. I mean, for you, it's like, I know you didn't go over like your scorecard exactly. Right. But like you just did, like, at least this is what you told me, 20 million. Right. In like your business, like over this past year. Yep. It's crazy. And then you have 10 million in real estate. Right. That's insane. That puts you in 0.00001% for like, just like kids in our age group. Correct. For someone that's in their 20s, 19, 18 years old, like what would you tell them right now? Not like, what should they not be focusing on? What should they not be focusing on? Yep. I mean, it really is only, I think, right now
in our age, I think there's a few things that's still really relevant and it's going to be always relevant. Is AI and real estate. E-commerce is a constant changing beast. Where for me, it was, I was focused on that for a long time, and I just had to pivot. And I have great people that I'm doing this with that are tremendously smarter than I am, and ambitious and resilient. But if I would tell them to not focus on something, is these social media gurus, man. And the reason why I say that is I can, today if I want to, I can get a phone, start vlogging, recording a lifestyle that's far beyond what my day is really as an entrepreneur. And I promise you, I would get 100,000 followers faster than me showing what my struggles are as an entrepreneur today.
100%.
Right? I could show that same postcard on this channel and even grow it larger, and more people would be like, oh my God, like I'm engaged. Or I could be like day in life as a future entrepreneur and less people to watch that. And the reason why I say this is important is because sometimes our role models, which is sad to say for some of these kids growing up now, are those people, right? They see a guy who's claiming he's doing, just crazy numbers and this and that, and they just follow that. And they think that's the world, that's their life, that's their beacon and so forth. But growing up, my role model was my mother. Right? She didn't have nearly half of the success I've had. But she was because of who she is, not what they portray themselves, not the dollar value they have in front of them. So I think my advice to them is don't follow those moguls, I think what they are, and these crazy, like if you like cars and watches, go for it or whatever. But if that's what you're making yourself to be, and that's what you want to be only, and that's the only kind of success you see, then it's gonna be hard for you, man.
Because that's not what entrepreneurship is.
It's not.
And it's a false reality.
It is.
I love that, man. I think last question. Like, what is your mission, vision, purpose? What do you want to accomplish in the next 10, 15, 20 years? Like, what does that life look like to you?
There's two things I really want to do, and I think I will eventually do. I think we're talking about this at dinner a couple days ago. I was saying I want to do, one is Young Entrepreneurs of America, and eventually I want to start an alliance with that in Young Entrepreneurs of Africa and so forth.
Sure.
And the idea would essentially be young entrepreneurs at the age of 20 to 35. There's a lot of simulators and combinators and so forth, and accelerators, right, etc., that bring in people. Here's $1,000, here's $10,000, run. I don't really like that. I've been in several of them. I've been in some well-known ones, right? They don't do anything for you. But what I think would be cool is now if you brought these people together and you gave them a fund and they did it all together and they all own a piece of that pie. And as they grow that pie, so say you toss them 100,000, 30 of the youngest entrepreneurs in America come together. They're in a 5-day retreat. Before they leave, they've launched their first business. See how far they can take it. Do these analysis on there. Teach that to the next generation and generation and generation. The reason why I think entrepreneurship is so important and having that mindset of an entrepreneur is so important is critical thinking and problem solving is the root of it, right? Amazon is successful because they solve the problem of delivering goods to your front door. Uber Eats solves the problem of delivering food to your front door. All these apps, the majority of them are just connectors of a service. Amazon owns now, I think, very little products. Majority of their sellers are third-party sellers like myself. Uber owns 0 cars. They have everybody else do it. PayPal, same thing. They own $0 basically. Now, just connect people with their money, right? And so forth and so forth. And I say this because I want to do the same thing with younger entrepreneurs, give them the ability for them to connect wisdom with each other and be able to still make money while doing that. And then the other part of that is I'm still really focused on service and public service specifically. I think right now our generation is really, really tremendously struggling with what I call as a huge illness, which is mental health, man. And this game of comparison, a game of, oh, why does he have that? Why don't I have that? Who's he to get it? Why can't I get it? This animosity turns to evil eye turns into deep hatred, and so forth. And I think, is there a cure for that? Probably not immediately, but I think helping people get help that they really need, and I don't know what that looks like right now, right?
Sure.
At this current stage of my life, but I think it's something that a lot of people I mean, I've been blessed to know some of the top entrepreneurs in the world, and one of the problems they face, right? They've got the money, they've got the car, they've got the lady, they've got the house. They're not happy, right? And I know a lot of the other side of the token too. Young guys who just got out of college, they don't got any of that, and they're not happy. So when it really says happiness isn't measured by the how fat your pockets are, or where you came from, or that, I mean, it's genuinely sad, man. But then you see kids in developing countries, like you go to Ghana, you go Somalia, you go Egypt, right? You see these young kids, the smile on their face, man.
Yeah.
It's actually rejuvenating. And that's a problem I really want to solve.
Love it. Thanks for being on, bro.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah. Give us a little background just on yourself.
Okay. My name's Jeremiah. I'm 19 years old right now. I'm turning 20 next week, and right now doing high ticket sales as a closer and as a setter. Been in sales for around 2 years. And yeah, like still building up the career, still building up capital to then get into business soon.
Yeah, love it, man. What were you doing before sales, and like what got you into it?
Well, I'm 19, so like just got out of high school. Graduated 2023. When I graduated, I was building up a marketing agency by myself, and I'm telling everybody like, oh, I'm gonna make $10,000 a month. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Gonna be driving around nice cars, and it was not taking any action at all. Stupid to laugh about now. So getting out of high school, I was like, all right, like you're so used to being in school. I thought I might as well just go to college because it was going to be free for me anyway. I had financial aid. So I went to a 4-year pursuing business marketing.
Okay.
And while pursuing the business marketing degree, I met my buddy Jordan. So like I mentioned, I was building up my own marketing agency, didn't take any action, paid $2,000 for a course that I didn't use. And you're 17 years old and you're the one paying for everything. So like $2,000 was a lot of money at the time. And I met my buddy Jordan, and he was trying to do the same thing, and he was struggling with taking action and having accountability to actually do something about it. So when we met up again, I hadn't seen him in 5 years maybe. Funny enough, we ended up being on the same path, and we were like, bro, like we should just do this together. And we ended up doing that together, and that was the first high ticket offer that I started selling. And it was marketing services. We were selling packages between $2K and $12K, really just depending on how long somebody wanted to be on a contract basis with us. Mm-hmm. And that was the start of the actual journey for high ticket sales. Yeah,
love it, man.
Yeah, it was super cool.
I guess like when you decided to like go to college, from like you're talking about like doing this like marketing agency, mm-hmm. and then you like switched like going like to college. Yeah, was that why did you want to go to college instead of like just taking action in the first place?
So I ended up coming to that epiphany at one point, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what am I doing in college? I ended up going to college, like I said, because for one, it was free, and then mm-hmm. 2, you're in school for 12 years of your life, It's like, okay, what do you do after this? You're so used to getting a schedule, having people basically tell you what to do, and doing the business, I was breaking out of that habit, but still, I wanted the time freedom, but at the time, I needed the schedule to follow. You know what I mean? Okay. So I was going to school because it was that easy schedule that I could follow at one point. But then second semester in of studying marketing and having my own marketing agency, what am I doing in school right now? Like, I should be going all in on this business. And so I'm sitting in this room, funny enough, with my buddy Jordan, and we're talking. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm going to drop out of college. He's like, are you sure, bro? I'm like, I think I'm going to drop out of college. Mm-hmm. And so I pull it up on my laptop. I see the form. There's a form to drop out. It says you can either withdraw right now and you'd be able to come back in the next year if you wanted to, right? Or you can completely withdraw out of the school. You can't come back for 2 years if you do that. Pick the second option. Had to pick the second option. And I ended up dropping out, and then that's when we went like all in on the business.
Love it.
Yeah.
What did your friends and family think about that? And then what happened after, like the results, like
Yeah.
after doing that?
Dude, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody, bro.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a shame thing. It was just like people weren't gonna understand. You know what I mean? You're in an area, because like I didn't grow up in the best area, and you deal with family members who are like all very Hispanic. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, Italian, so we're dealing with Italians and Hispanics. Italians, you know, maybe they lean more towards the business owner stuff, and sometimes the Hispanics, but in my household, not too much. Very much more career focused. And so me not going to college, it didn't make sense. To them at least. Like I said, they wouldn't understand. So when I first dropped out, like I said, I did it in this room with my buddy, and I didn't tell my mom. I only live with my mom right now. I didn't tell her for a month. A month I didn't tell her. So I'm home for a month, like school semester. It was mid-semester.
Okay.
And I'm home almost every day. And my mom's like, when are you going to school? I was like, oh, like, yeah, no, I just, skip this class today. I'm getting the homework done. It's perfectly fine. And sometimes I would even go to the school. I was going to Montclair State. We're in Jersey. I was going to Montclair State, and they had offices that you can go to, like little study rooms. So I would always work in there. So I'd go to the school. They had a gym there as well. And I still had my ID card. Like, they hadn't canceled it yet.
Sure.
So I would go to the school gym. I'd work out in the morning. And then I'd go over to one of the study rooms, and I'd call my buddy up, Jordan. And we would just get as much work done as possible. So I'd either be home or I'd be out the house, and I'd be gone for maybe 12 hours for the entire day. So I'd get back home, and my mom's assuming that I'm at school. Not at school, just not in school, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I remember the day we're in my kitchen, my mom's like, have you been going to school, or like, are you just not going to school anymore? I was like, Mom, I dropped out a month ago. She looked at me, she was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, yeah, like I dropped out a month ago. I'm going all in on this business. Like, I'm gonna make money with this thing. And she's like, I can't fucking believe you. Like, you're really gonna throw away your future? This is terrible. I can't believe you're doing this. Mm-hmm. And she proceeded to not talk to me for the next 2 months after that.
Damn.
And so it was just me. It was just me and my buddy. And we were just trying to scale this business, bro. It's fucking crazy.
And like, what happened after that? Like, did the business start scaling, or was it plateauing or declining, or what?
The business, first business, right? There's gonna be some challenges.
So you're leading the sales,
I'm leading the sales team. Yeah, I'm leading the sales team, and my buddy Jordan's the head of the marketing team.
Cool. Was there other sales rep too, or was it just you?
It was just me. No, it was just me. We weren't gonna hire out of sales just yet. We wanted to figure out the sales process as best as possible, and then be able to train somebody up. Yeah. My buddy Jordan, he was doing the marketing and the HR type of thing. So we were hiring employees, but specifically for appointment setting.
Yeah.
And cold calling, because I was doing it for like a month and I hated it. I was like, I hate cold calling people, so like, let's just hire some chick from the Philippines and pay her $1 an hour, respectfully.
No,
like,
for sure.
And the issue with the business, we ended up realizing, because it did plateau at one point, but to start, at least, when we first started up the business, we started up the marketing agency in October of 2023. And from October, November, December, we were pushing e-commerce clients specifically. Mm-hmm. So we're DMing 200 people a day for almost 3 months, trying to like land a client, and nobody was biting. Nobody was biting. We're trying to find emails, we're trying to find numbers so we can call, but nobody's biting. So after 3 months of pushing,
this is while your mom's not talking to you.
This is no. I was in school at this time still.
Oh, okay.
So this is October to November. I had dropped out in March or in February of the year after, of 2024, my second semester.
Okay.
Yeah, to give you like a little bit of a timeline. But for those 3 months, we're dialing, we're texting, nobody's biting. So after 3 months, we're like, okay, I think we might have to switch niches. And like, that's one thing that you don't want to do when you're having a marketing agency. You need to push as much as possible. It's like this idea, you need to stick with the same thing and just keep on doing that thing over and over, and you'll find some success. But after 3 months of pushing, we saw nothing. We're like, okay, I don't think this is the way to go. So it was New Year's, literally January 1st. We're like, okay, starting New Year's, we're gonna start a new offer, and we're gonna pick a new niche to go into. And so we did roofing contractors. We're in between real estate agents and roofing contractors. We ended up going into roofing contractors January 1st, January 2nd, we signed our first client, which was like, whoa, like this shit's real.
Yeah.
And we signed him for $500. It was my first ever sales call. I have the call recorded. Dude, there was no way that this guy gave me his credit card information with what I was saying on the phone. Like, I just bullshitted the entire thing, bro.
Yep.
And so once we got that first client, now we had to figure out client fulfillment because we don't know what we're doing. We're just taking action because why not? So after trying to figure out client fulfillment, we're like, okay, like we need to figure out how to media buy. We need to figure out how to run Facebook ads. And we need to make sure that we are funneling these leads properly so we can set up appointments so he can close on the deals. And while figuring that out, we outsourced the media buy to learn from him, right? So we paid this guy $600 to try to learn from him to get the good client results. And as we're trying to do that, we're like, okay, we'll figure out this guy, but we still got to push. You know, Jordan was handling the marketing and stuff, and I still need to be in sales. Like, I still need to make sure we're getting clients coming in. Maybe not the best idea. We should have probably focused on client fulfillment with that one client, make sure that's dialed, and then start getting more people on. But again, you got a 17-year-old kid that's trying to take action.
Live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn. And so the way that we were trying to get clients, the lead magnet that we were using it was 2-week free trials. Mm-hmm. Not a good lead magnet for a marketing agency, bro. How do you expect to get results in 2 weeks? Let's be serious. Like, especially if somebody has no brand at all on social media, you can run ads, but like, dude,
is it really gonna work?
2 weeks? Yeah. What are we talking about? I don't even know why we thought that was a thing. At least a month, maybe.
Yep.
And so I think we ended up getting 5 or 6 people on for this 2-week free trial. And this is over the span of 2 months, getting 5-6 people on. So I'm taking a sales call, I'm talking to people, I'm onboarding everybody myself too, while Jordan's handling the team and handling the marketing side, and he's the one running the ads. And we're getting all these people on. And the issue with a 2-week free trial, for one, the client fulfillment isn't gonna be there. So they're not gonna convert, right? So over these past 2 months, 3 months, we were running ads to get these leads to come in. We filmed, I think, 200 ads and started running ads on Facebook. And the leads were coming in and we're like slowly but surely converting people. But on a 2-week free trial, again, the issue was the results. But secondly, the people that you're attracting with a 2-week free trial are all cheap, if we're being honest. Like, if you're getting a business owner that's looking for a 2-week free trial, they want something that's going to be quick results and that it's like no stress. I don't have to put any money in. Like, they want it all done for you, but those are the guys that you don't want to work with. You know, like, as a sales guy, as you know, you need to build value into the product. And there's a reason why somebody's paying $4,000 a month for $3,000 a month for whatever the service is.
So you guys were building all this value and all this, like, or you guys were spending all this time and then just not getting anything from it.
Not getting anything from it. So yeah, we're working with all these people, we're spending all this money. I think we ended up spending like $5,000 on ads and on employees alone. And nothing was converting. So like that was like, that's where the issue came into play with the company. Yeah,
for sure. And like, obviously, so that was back in, you said January?
So that was, the issues really started up around like March time. Yeah. So like that time that I was telling my mom, like, oh no, like I'm going to make it out, you know, but dude, we were struggling bad converting these clients into actual like paying clients.
Yeah. Talk to me about your transition from that to what you're doing now in sales, and then what are you wanting to do in the next like 5 to 10 years? Like, what do you want the average Tuesday to look like?
Really quick recap. I mean, because from that point on, so much I think happened in like the past 2 years. It's now August and it's about to be September of 2025. So much shit happened. So like I said, we ended up getting into like $5,000 worth of debt. And I was at a point in my life where I was like, dude, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And I ended up getting into, and I hate to even use the word, but I got into like this depressive episode where like, I did not know what to do. I couldn't get out of bed. And I felt really bad because I was ghosting my friend Jordan too. He's like texting me, he's like, bro, like, what's going on? I'm supposed to be working on the advertisements too, because while he was running the marketing and handling the team, I was doing sales and I'm also making the ads for our clients too. And I remember the weekend before I ended up busting my ass on making ads and ended up not working out. Nonetheless, I got into this depressive episode and I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And after ghosting my friend for like 30 days, he texts me, he sends me a contract. He's like, bro, sign off the rest of your company. Like, I'll take 100%. Like, don't worry about anything. Like, you go figure this shit out. I took on half of the debt. I had to pay off half of the debt. And I ended up getting a job after that. But it was a sales job, which was good. That's where the sales journey continued, and it ended up being in gym sales. So I started doing in-person gym sales where I was lead nurturing. I was booking appointments with the leads. I was doing presentations, and I was closing all the leads. And I was doing that for like around 3 or 4 months.
Sure.
And then after doing that and realizing that the commission wasn't what I wanted it to be, it was like, okay, I need to figure out something else. And finally, like, I landed in high ticket sales, and I finally saw that, okay, I can actually make a good amount of money doing online sales.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's funny. Like, I honestly think you'll probably make a lot more money this year
Disgusting amount.
doing high ticket sales than what you were doing before.
Yeah.
Like, trying to like own a business, like run it, everything like
Yeah.
that. We'll wrap it up with like these couple of questions. But I'm curious if you had to do it like all over again, because obviously like you learned a lot from like owning the business and whatnot. But do you feel like you would have like benefited more like getting into sales earlier than trying to start a business like later? Or like what do you wish you would have done different? Like, I guess like around that time frame.
I'm not a big like regretful guy. You know what I mean? I think everything happens for a reason, you know, and that's not like in a cliche way. Like, everything genuinely happens for a reason. I'm so happy. Like, we lost all of that money, you know, and went through that experience. Because, dude, you learn so much trying to start a business. And, like, once it's started, you learn even more trying to run one and trying to scale one. Oh, it's crazy how much you learn, not just about sales, but about marketing, about
Everything.
about literally everything in business, like trying to build a company culture, like all of this stuff. So I honestly don't think I would change a thing. If we're talking about money-wise, then maybe I would have got straight into sales. You know, like, I'll tell myself, like, dude, just stick in sales. But I would tell myself to only do remote high-ticket sales. Or maybe solar, because solar, there's a lot of money there, too. But I wouldn't tell myself to go into sales anywhere else besides maybe solar. But, like, remote high-ticket sales is definitely the way to go. But you learn so much throughout that process of trying to start a business. I wouldn't change a thing.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's like been your journey, and you've learned so much from it.
Bro,
and it's like when you do get to that point where you want to start your own business.
Yeah.
It's like you've had those lessons.
I already learned everything, and obviously there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
We were running a small company with 6-7 clients. Now what's it going to be like when you're running a company with 20 clients, 25 clients? You're pulling in $10 million a year, $15 million a year. Like, that's a completely different level of business. But that's the fun part.
100%.
Yeah.
Love it. To wrap it up, in like 2 sentences, what do you want your average Tuesday to look like in 10 years?
Dude, what a good question. In 10 years?
10 years.
Average Tuesday. I want to...
2 sentences.
2 sentences.
2.
Visualizing. I want to be able to wake up on a Tuesday morning, go out for a run, get a cup of coffee, and have complete ownership over the time that I have. And secondly, not have any stress on where money coming in from. Everything's moving smoothly. Yeah. 10 years, easy.
Boom. Based off of the conference that I went to a couple of days ago.
Can I say something before you say that, actually?
Let's hear it.
I mean, I've been to a lot of conferences.
Okay.
So the way we met, for the show too, the way we met Jeremiah was through this conference.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, Jeremiah and came and we're talking to him, and fast forward, the podcast we're recording, shout out to, what is it, Big Media, right? Like, I truly saw myself within you and your friend, right? And the reason why I say that is, I mean, you were getting up like the entire time, and I think you should leave their links down below, but for someone to be so passionate enough to get up every 30 seconds to record 100%. Shows a lot, right?
Shows a lot.
an event that he wasn't like filming for. Like Jordan, oh my gosh, I was talking about it. Jordan, it wasn't planned or anything like that. Right. He's wearing all black. He has a DJI rig, and he also has this really, really nice FX30 camera. Right. So he's up in the front, and nobody questioned. He doesn't have a media badge or anything like that, but he's literally at the front of the show, filming the entire thing.
And the crazier thing about that is, like, you have the main guy liking your story from a simple video you created that he didn't even hire you for, but it shows it's far greater than, like, what you're doing, so you actually enjoy it. So I just wanted to give that, like, cool shout out.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. I appreciate that, bro. It really is, man. I wanted to mention the fact that we literally met a day ago at this event.
It's crazy.
The first people that we meet at this event, and ends up being one of the best connections that I think we could have made.
Which is awesome.
With you guys, because you guys are awesome, too.
Yeah. I mean, it was even funnier because I was telling Abukar literally the day before, I was like, we need to find someone who's in sales.
Yeah.
And we need to do a podcast.
Right.
Literally the day before, and you guys were the first people that we met.
Super funny, bro.
So random.
Yeah, it's crazy how things work.
Like, actually so random.
The line is wild. I'm sorry.
No, that was a great point to add. No. I was going to mention something, and then you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the shout out.
I mean, just kind of like to your point earlier, it's like the shots you take, the things you do, just like the actions you take. It's like the everything just aligns.
Yeah,
everything just aligns how it's supposed to. You meet the people who you need to, and just move forward.
The event ended up being super last minute for me and Jordan too, because I think I signed up on Thursday last week because I saw an ad on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, like this seems pretty cool. I saw David Goggins, I saw Kevin O'Leary too. I was like, oh, this has got to be sick. I didn't know who Eddie Wilson was or Andrew, or even Pace. And they called me up and they're like, oh, do you want to bring a friend or anything like that? And it was 2 days before the event, and I texted Jordan. I'm like, yo, bro, you want to come to the business event? Right. Like, I know you're building a bit media. You probably meet a couple people here. Mm-hmm. David Goggins, Kevin O'Leary, like, it's be cool people to hear talk. And he's like, hell yeah, like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's just go to this event, and ended up being super last minute, and, you know, it really works out like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. But yeah, can't complain.
No, hell no. Oh my gosh, this is super cool.
This has been fun.
Right.
For sure. Well, a couple of questions for you guys. Yeah, this one is actually from that. Is about contributors and creators.
Okay, totally. Yeah, what he was talking about.
I'm curious what you think, and then like what you feel like really separates those two categories.
Okay, from contributors and from creators. Yep. I think the biggest thing that a creator has is the like Abu spoke about earlier, is the imagination. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to have this creative side about you. You need to really be able to see this vision if you want to create something. The contributors are there to help throughout the way. You know, those are the people that are working under you in a company. If you're building up, those are the people that are helping you get to the vision that you saw for yourself. Mm-hmm. But to give you a short answer, I think the defining factor between a contributor and creator is the creativity that the creator has in comparison to the contributor.
Mm-hmm. And the vision behind it.
Yeah, you need to have this vision. I mean, I'm very big on like having actionable goals and not being too focused on like this result-based thing, like, oh, I need to be making $100,000 a month or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But you still need to have like a vision in mind, at least at the bare minimum. And you need to be able to see it. You really, really need to be able to see it. And then to get contributors backing you, you need to be able to speak it confidently. Like, oh, I want to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. You speak the vision to these people, and then you get them on board with the why of why you want to do it. And then, you know, the contributors can help out. But the creator's the one that's really like pushing the pack.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the right point, but I think a different aspect that, because it was reminding me about one of our distribution center, right? We set it up in a way where as creators, we're like, all right, we want to set up, you do this, you do that, you do that. It was very simple. It was like a line system. But the cool thing was the contributors who were doing that now become creators because they find a creative way of doing that work that you gave them as the creator, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So not every contributor just remains as a contributor, but they become a creator. But the crazier part is, so say if you are someone who's an entrepreneur or an owner or have this visionary to do this work, if you're able to set up the people around you in a certain way, and you actually believe in your teammate, you believe, like, at the end of the day, if you see yourself one higher than the other, then there's no point in this conversation.
Sure.
But if you see them as equal boundaries, then it's actually a completely different ball game. Now, this person, for instance, who was doing our distribution center, they've completely reorganize how we do our distribution, right? And from the way inflow comes in and the way it's going out, the way the shelving is set up, the way the people are coming to our facility, it's just a complete 180. Yeah. And the cool thing is they were able to be the creators within their own, like, contributions that they were making to the company. So I think that was the cool part that people also still need to recognize, that it's not really just black and white, right? It's not just, oh, you're that, and that's the only bubble you fit in. And you should encourage that creativity on both sides.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I'm curious, I guess, like, from your perspective, like, with it not being, like, so black and white, obviously there's a point within, like, that scale where it tips over. It's like being a creator where there is, like, a greater, like, upside.
Right.
Like, what point, like, do you think that is?
I think
what separates, like, that group, if that makes sense.
For sure. I think, for instance, right, like, you're probably not going to ask your contributor how to make an extra dollar or two, because they're simply just contributing to making sure that happens. However, if you're assigning them to be a contributor in that certain sector or that certain group or that certain project, if you don't give them the ability to really be creative on how they do it, then you're just managing babies at that point. It's like what's the difference between you running an elementary school and a business, right? Mm-hmm. You're telling the kid, hey, make sure you don't draw on the wall, and then you go on there and you're sitting there holding their hands, making sure they don't draw on the wall. But if you tell the kid, hey, these are crayons, you can paint whenever you want, you can draw whenever you want, but make sure you don't draw on the wall, that's a different conversation. And similar to the thing to business, I say that only story because I have two sisters who are educators, right? It's the boundaries that you place within those groups. At the end of the day, you know that as the creator of something, you have all the full rights to do whatever you want. Mm. But the second, also, once again, it's like your whole thing's like, oh, I'm the creator, they better listen, I'm the best in charge. One, it's not fun to work with you. Two, they're going to find another gig and not be loyal to you. The great thing about the company we built, I think our oldest guys that they've been with us since the beginning. Yeah. We've had very small turnover, like from the day one, from that small operation till today, they're the same people in that spot because they're able to do that. And I think that's the coolest thing.
I like that.
Sick.
I think it's cool. I mean, like, the people that, like, stick around with you, like, the longest, like, when they're helping you, like, build, like, your visions, like, your goals, it's like when you do, like, care about them, and, like, you are on the same level, and you do give them, like, that creative space. And eventually, like, they'll probably get to a point where, like, they want to build their own thing. Yeah. Like, with that. So it's like you're helping them further, like, their goals. And it does. Because naturally, they want to create more.
Like, there's a girl literally in our facility, she's a warehouse manager. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing that she was doing was she's phenomenal, talented. Literally, our workflow is a lot, like 1,000% better than what it is. And she's like, hey, well, there's another company who came and visited us, and they're looking at it, and they asked her, like, how are you guys doing this? And she was the front-facing person. We let her talk. We let her say the story, why we were doing the way we're doing it. She felt valued. She felt heard, and she felt like she was the one who was creating that. She was. And they asked, can we do the same thing in our facility? Mm-hmm. Instead of us saying, well, pay us, do this, she went, did that. She made 100% of the money. She's making 6 figures now from just doing that as her side business, right? Mm-hmm. So the ability for her to do that as the creator and have the full rights, I'm more than happy for her to do that. She can do it all that time, but she's still loyal. Yeah. Like when the project's coming up and she knows our facility is needing her, she's there, right? So as long as it's built to the right direction, I think that there's wiggle rooms for both of them.
100%. No reason to keep people in a box.
No.
Yeah, seriously.
No. It's like when your mom tells you, hey, don't go outside past midnight or be home by that time. As a kid, you're going to be a rebel, all right? And so it's kind of the same thing, I believe.
I love that. What does winning mean to you guys in one word?
One word.
One word.
Jeremiah.
Yep.
For sure.
That's my one word.
Oh yeah.
Abu. Nah. I want to say agency. Yeah, I can elaborate or I cannot elaborate. Agency as in control. Obviously, like there's a bunch of things that we can't control in life, but there's certain things that we can take control of, and I think winning is having agency in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. That's where my mind goes instantly. I want to say freedom. Like, it feels so cliche. It really does. It feels so cliche to say that, and it's so broad. But yeah, to have control of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and you're never gonna have control over everything. But like I said, it's being able to, it's focusing on those things that you can control, that I think is really, really important. You know, working a 9 to 5, like you're not in control of your time at all there, or like in the money that you can make too. If you have your own business or if you're doing high ticket sales, you are in control of how much you could make, because it all depends on the work that you're putting in. Mm-hmm. So I think that's winning. And you could not be making a lot of money, you know what I mean? But in my opinion, being able to make your own calendar, be able to choose where you want to travel to, being able to, like I said earlier, like to wake up on a Tuesday afternoon, wake up, go on a run in the morning, grab a cup of coffee, and know what your days entailed because you planned it, because you wanted to do it. That's winning to me. Yeah.
I love that. Agency, I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Yeah.
But like the ability to choose, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Mine just sounds horrible after hearing that one, man. I was gonna say money.
I mean, we can just end it now.
Yeah,
should we?
just cut the cameras, please.
All right, sure.
No, in all seriousness, I think kind of similar, but money. But in a different way. And when I say money, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, you're just chasing the dollar bill, and it goes everything kind of opposite everything and so forth. But I think if you have enough for you to travel, for you to be happy, for you to be a family man, for you to be all that stuff, is the ability for you to have that money saved up or placed away so that you can do what you love. And sometimes I think it's like this voodoo word that we say money, like as if we're saying we're gonna kill some kids or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay for people to say I want money. It's okay for you to say, yeah, boss, I want a freaking raise because I deserve it, right? Or, yeah, I want to go find another job because you're not paying me enough so that I can spend more time to be with my family and so forth, which we saw, I think, during the conference last time.
Sure.
And so I think my one word would be money. That's success to me, and people, a lot of people might disagree on that part. But I think it's a reality, whether they want to admit it up frontly or not. That leads to a lot of your main keys, happiness, and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people who weren't happy that I know currently, who are entrepreneurs that have a lot of money, they lack other parts of their life, but money really did help them out. Because they're able to now try to fix that, if that makes sense.
For sure.
If they weren't, they would just be another guy who has another problem, who has another issue, and half the people would be listening to them. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to that root thing.
Yeah. I think there's just a bad connotation to it.
Yeah.
Like this idea of money, but like money isn't a bad thing.
No.
And like I grew up Christian, and in the Bible, people will like say like, oh, you're Christian, you know, you can't like pursue money, you can't want money, but the only thing that it says in the Bible is that a love of money is wrong. Mm-hmm. The love for money, to be worshiping it like an idol in a sense.
Exactly.
But money is not a bad thing at all.
It's a tool. It's a tool.
It's literally just a tool. Yeah, we heard that in the conference.
Yeah.
It's a tool, it's freedom, it's happiness, whatever it is. Right. But, yeah.
Love that. Cool. All right. Any questions now?
Brother. I think this is...
We'll do like 2 questions too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think this is probably a good question for future me, because I don't have a business right now, but I wanted to know, you've been doing business for a while now. What was probably one of the biggest bottlenecks in your business that you noticed, that you struggled with the most, but you were able to overcome?
I think it's still a balance, but it's still the biggest bottleneck. So it might be like a 2-part answer.
Sure, that's fine.
Time, man. A lot of people, like I said, like this moguls and social media artists, they think you got the money, you can travel, you can do all that, right? You can travel and so forth. But I mean, you saw me literally working the second I landed to New Jersey to I'm talking about 1, 2 in the morning. Last night working for a little bit later, right? Some days you're working till 5, 6 a.m., but you're up the next day at 8 a.m., right? You're constantly on the phone. I remember we had a family like trip for my uncle's wedding, and this is maybe less than even a year ago, right? And I've worked my whole life. Since like, which feels crazy to say, but I'm like, you would think like, oh, maybe I could just be off the phone, like everything's set up, like I'm alright. I'm walking. I leave a day later than all of them. I finally meet up with them. Then we're doing a road trip from Seattle into Vancouver, Canada, where my uncle was getting married at, and the entire drive, I'm on the phone. Yeah. We arrive there. We get checked in. The entire time I'm on a call. We're going to my family member's house. I'm on a call. Yeah. Right? We arrive to the thing, and everyone's might be like in the comment section, boundaries. Well, boundaries this, boundaries that. Sometimes in business there is no boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
Like good morning, right? So when people say you just turn it off and turn it on, it's like water faucet, shred the 9, brother. That's not true. Like the faucet is constantly running. You're gonna take the 909s. You're gonna take the 911s. All that comes to it. So I think the hardest part is that. The cooler thing is eventually you're able to place in people in your team that could take some of that parts off, right? Like, I don't need to do everything that requires for accounting. I don't need to do every single charge. I don't need to do every single thing, right? People can do that, but every once in a while I have to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't need to do warehouse shipping, right? Like, there's some people who are shipping the boxes themselves. So I don't need to be physically in the building, right? So now I get more time to like maybe just be on the computer instead or on the phones, but then that also requires a lot of time. So I think that 2-part thing I was saying to you was time is the hardest. It can be solved through placing other people, but at the same time there's still a lot of things that you have to do, and I'll end it with a small part, and it's actually, I believe, was from Brian Chesky. He says, I'm trying to remember exact words that were said. He framed this where essentially was, the second the entrepreneur stops becoming the entrepreneur of the business and starts relying on the employees to be the business, is the second the business starts to digress from what the roots and the love of it was.
For sure.
And then the example of that is if it was built on family, if it was built on trust, if it was built on this and that, it gets stripped away. And I'll share an example of that. We've never, in the time I've been there, and I've done this, right, done a background check on an employee ever. I never cared to. Yeah. I've never wanted to. Mm-hmm. And I think just because every human deserves a chance. Yeah. If you're sitting there in front of me and you're telling me this is why I should be there, and I promise you this and that, I trust you. So we never done that in a long time. And here's a problem with that though. And it's a sad truth and it's a sad reality to come in there. You see them doing tremendous work as what you think is, right? Mm-hmm. And one day someone comes and tells us these guys are stealing shoes. Yeah. And it's actually disheartening.
Yeah, for sure. Because
never every wintertime they get free pairs. Every time they get free jackets because some of them walk or to take the bus to just come to help us out. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, you're helping me out. You're taking the bus. Like, holy crap! Like I remember the story of my mother. Yeah. Right. And I feel like there's a genuine part of my heart who cares, but I gave it up to somebody else to do that part of caring, where it's like, oh, make sure that these guys are not doing something stupid and so forth. But the second that happened, I'm like, the hardest thing was saying, you're no longer going to be with us.
Yeah.
But what that's going to teach them is a hard lesson that trust me, I've messed up my entire life. I'm not no perfect guy. I'm not like I used to be kicked. I used to run away from elementary school, literally hide in lockers. My mom would get calls and so forth. I can go on stories on how many times I messed up on.
Yeah.
But if I didn't learn those lessons early on, I would never. One of the guys was 40 something. One of the guys was 30 something. One of them was a dad.
Yeah.
Right, the only breadwinner. You don't think it's hard to have those kind of conversations with those type of people, right? But what it will teach them for the rest of their life is to not steal something that's not yours.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other part of that aspect is now what you've built as the entrepreneur. You remember, if it's not continued within the people who are coming in, they will never respect that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the world is changing. It's constantly changing. People also just take advantage of wrong timing, of the wrong spot, and so forth. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a great guy. That guy, even both of them, and I think they just made a stupid decision that cost them their job, unfortunately. But it's part of life, man.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's the biggest one.
For sure. Can I touch? I think one thing that I wanted to pull away from what you just said is losing the entrepreneurship drive. A lot of people get into business kind of like with a finite, get into business with this finite idea. I'm going to start a business, we're going to scale up, and then I have all the time freedom in the world and all the money freedom. I'll be able to travel the world, do this, do that.
Right.
Like, that's not the case. Like, let's be realistic here. You can start a business for the drive, the want, the vision that you have, and you get people along the way with you,
right,
on that vision, and
right.
These people are helping you out. But at the end of the day, entrepreneurship should never be looked as a finite game, but more of like an infinite game. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I love touching on this idea of like infinite and finite, and like a lot of people go into things thinking about that it's finite. Even the gym, for example, people think, oh, I'm gonna work out for 3-6 months, I'm gonna get a 6-pack, it's gonna be great.
Would you agree the bullshit, the hard 75?
Yeah, 75 hard. Yeah.
Whatever that is, like,
And you know,
biggest joke.
I'm not gonna.
It's a good kickstart.
It's a good kickstart, but it's like saying, you know, I'm gonna quit smoking for 76 days, and then my life is gonna.
Because I have a story about that, but
because I like his
I
point.
disagree.
Yeah, it is it's a kickstart.
It is a kickstart.
It gets you off the ground.
But if you think that's the only way for you to end up being fit and staying consistent in the gym.
Of course not. Never.
I've tried it. I've tried it myself. I've done the full 76. I've read the books. I've done the outdoor thing. Did I look better in 76 days? Absolutely. What happened on day 77? I did that, brother. Like, I'm gonna chill for a second, right? Like, let me just relapse real quick. Yeah. Same way as smokers. Like, you tell a smoker, don't smoke for 3 months. Just try that. They're gonna do it. Yeah. They're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it in a heartbeat. Freaking day 1 comes in month 4, they relapse.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like our body, we're just, at the end of the day, it's just blood cells running through our veins, and we're just, we think, I mean, habits change in 3 months, I think, or was it 3-4 weeks that you can change a habit in, but at the same time, that's not. It's a lifelong journey. Yeah. And I think same way for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was touching on exactly. Like, it really is just this lifelong journey that you should be falling in love with the process, not falling in love with just the vision of, okay, 3 months down the line, I'm going to be amazing. Everything's going to be great. Right. Sure, like you said, you might look better after doing the 75-hour challenge. Right. But it's deeper than that. It's finding something that can be consistent, that you can make a part of your life, not just a part of the past that you lived.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I wanted to touch on that because I thought that was really, really good. And then also, second thing that I thought was really crucial was this idea of hiring people under you that have the entrepreneur vision too, that are bought into what you're trying to build, not just making the money. Correct. That was the issue, I guess, with those 2 guys who ended up stealing. They weren't part of the vision. They were kind of just there to get by. You know, they got the free sneakers on Christmas or whatever, and then ended up doing you wrong. Yeah, I mean, they were just, like I said, I think they're great guys. They're great human beings. I still see them to this day at local areas and stuff, right? And because you're still in Utah. I'm like, hello, how are you? Give them hugs, shake their hand, right? No hard feelings towards them. Yeah.
silly mistakes, silly timing. And I'm like, dude, if they asked, I mean this cold heart, like, bottom of my heart, right?
Yeah.
They would have gotten it. But
Yeah.
for you to just come in there and take every time a return comes,
Yeah.
that's just, that's a little obnoxious.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good. Very, very good insight.
I think to both of you guys' point, I mean, like you doing that for them, like letting them go, even though it's like you want to help them, like you want to like let them stay, like try to take them underneath your wing. It's the more important lesson for them is for them to feel that pain.
Yeah.
So they can go.
My job.
So they can go through and try to never make that like mistake again.
Do you know what the most embarrassing? I'll tell you an embarrassing story. Only live here. It's a crazy
First
thing.
time ever heard.
The cops might hear this for the first time too, right?
Sorry.
Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sharing this live too. Elementary school, 6th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a cool kid, like every other kid, right? Like I said, I didn't grow up with a lot and so forth. You guys remember like parent-teacher conference? There was always a book fair.
Yes.
Right, there's like that little book fair,
sure.
and in the library you get little books. If you're like you have to buy them and so forth. There's these posters, and it's a very cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And my school as 6th graders, we had to work some sort of small shift to help the librarian, and I remember this kid comes up to me. He says, "Hey, I would like for you to join our group to take some stuff from this fair." I'm like, brother, you're speaking French to me. Like let's run this, right?
Yeah.
And eight kids coming together, and I kid you not, it was as if we were robbing the bank. He had this sketched out, like, you're standing here, you're gonna distract the librarian, like, and this is embarrassing to say, but it's the reality, right?
Yeah.
And my duty at that time, that day that this theft was occurring, I was the checkout guy. So my job was to distract the librarian and tell her, hey, look behind you. And then distract her, maybe tell her to go to the storage room for a second so the guys can take it and leave. So we sketch out this whole thing. We've met about it once or twice already that week. Friday rolls around, the day of our mission. Friday morning, we walk into the classroom. Everything's good. Instead of spending recess time to do recess stuff, play basketball, soccer, we're sitting outside planning for this theft. Plotting. Mm-hmm. I've never plotted anything. I've never even plotted how to get a good grade in elementary school, right? But all of a sudden, I'm locked in with 20/20 vision.
It's the start of the journey.
Just the start of the journey, right? Like, I'm thinking, we're thinking we're those guys.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, planned out, and I'm like, butterflies to my stomach, right? I'm like, dude, yeah, we got this, though. After school comes around, I go downstairs, I go to the library. I'm sitting there next to the librarian. Like, how are you doing? She's like, wow, you're so energetic today. Like, you never talk to me. Like, what's wrong with you, kid? Right? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, all of a sudden I'm asking questions I've never asked her. Like, you got a husband, you got kids, blah blah blah. Like, why do I care in 6th grade? I don't. I remember these kids are walking into the thing, hi, and they say the librarian's name, and they walk in, and they're all spread across the library. It's a pretty big library, right? And remember this girl, she's working the shift with me. This throws off the complete plan. I thought I was the only one working that day. Or it's not even working, it's like volunteer hours, whatever. So she's there, and I'm like, dang, like, what am I gonna do about her? Yeah. I'm like, now I'm talking to her too. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Distracting them. I'm like throwing singles, like, hurry, hey, how you like all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Our goal, by the way, what we're stealing was, I hope the author of this book helps me out here too. Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Wow.
Random side quest, but it was the thing in elementary school, man.
Sure.
This is big. It was a big hit.
You were that guy,
right? I was that guy, right?
Just go with Diary
of a Wimpy Kid. You're that guy.
Yep.
And we wanted to take every single edition of that new drop, every single one, a new copy for all 7 of us. So 7 this, 7 that, 7 that. There's 4 editions. So we do the math, 7 times 4, right?
It's a lot of books.
So we're doing a lot of books for us to 28. See, I knew you were a sales guy, man. Right. So we got that, and that's what we wanted to take. So what they were doing is they were taking it, putting their thing, putting in their backpack, and walk out. There's one entrance, one exit. Or one entrance from the other side and the exit from the other corner, right? They took all of that and they left. And this entire time, I didn't know I was tracking the librarian, but this girl saw the whole thing.
Gotta kill her.
So I'm like, the second they did that, I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this to you. My mother's actually here. I gotta go. All right, lie. She's not here. Whatever. I'm like, do you guys get it? Everything's good. Cool. My mom comes. I go to parent-teacher conference. Everything is looking great. The distribution of our stolen product was gonna arrive into our lockers Monday. It's like payday. Payday's Monday. Payday's Monday.
Gotta make it to Monday though.
Make it to Monday, baby. I'm downstairs, right? My grades were horrible in 6th grade. I was not the best student. We go down to the library again. She's like, I thought you went home. I'm like, yeah, my mom was here. We just barely came to parent-teacher conference. Lied to her again. I was like, Mom, can I get this push? Like, no, your grades were bad. I'm like, good thing I stole those diary wimpy kids, right? A happy boy here. Go home thinking I'm that guy. We didn't have social media at that time. We were young kids. You only have iPods, and we didn't communicate.
Yeah.
Monday rolls around, and I go, super excited kid, open my locker. Payday, baby, right? No. We got every single edition in my locker. I'm the happiest kid out there. I take them out. I walk in there. Look at my boy. Look at my other guy. You got them too. You got them too. You got them too. We're happy. We're smiling, right? We're thinking that, guys, look at this. You know, our parents just bought this. Like, we're flexing.
Yeah.
And in the intercom, it's right after recess. We come back. The first kid's name gets calling. I'm like, oh shit. This ain't looking too good.
Right, guys.
This ain't looking too good, right? Second kid, third kid, fourth kid, and at this time I was such a troublemaker. My table's right next to the elementary school, or my teacher's desk, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And I just start crying. I'm like, I'm gonna get my ass beat. He was like, what's going on? I'm like, you don't understand. He's like, I don't understand. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I'm next. Like, what are you next for? He's like, why are all these kids also getting called in my classroom and they're just calling intercom? Next kid, so I just start crying more. And there's one kid, me and him were like, we were troublemakers, but we weren't like those kind of troublemakers. Yeah. When I saw his name get called, it was as if like lightning struck me and I was about to die. I couldn't breathe, brother. I was crying my lungs out. He's like, all right, come out here in the hallway. He's talking to me, like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm done. You're never going to see me again. I'm going to jail tonight. Like, I'm done.
Meanwhile, you're 12 years old.
I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like 11 or whatever, 12, yeah, I think. And I'm all like, I'm done. And shortly enough, Abukar Hassan, to the front desk, please. I'm going out. I'm shaking, man. I'm crying. And we had this... shout out Antoine, man. That guy really took care of me, man. I used to be in his office every day. He was like the dean of... Like, we grew up in a kind of crazier neighborhood, and he was like a dean of students / counselor, right? He says, get your butt in here right now. And I'm in there, and he's like, what did you do? I'm like, all right. He's like, stop crying. And I'm like wiping my tears off. I'm like, I did it. He's like, what did you do? I'm like, I stole the books. But I'm like, I didn't do it, but like I helped out. He's like, you pretty much did it. He's like, get out of my office, go to the conference room. So now you open the conference room. You see all our boys down there, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone's just like quiet. And I gotta act like a tough guy because my boys are in there, right? So I'm like, tears are wafted off. Everyone's acting like they're that tough guy in there. And they called the local, it was like a local middle school, like PD. Okay, yeah. And security kind of thing, right? But he was like an officer, a gun, everything, badge, right? etc. And that elementary school principal was in that room. It was a big deal, man. It was like big deal.
It was a big heist, bro.
It was a big heist. It's like we stole $10 million from the bank, you know. Payday wasn't so much payday. It was jail day. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy crap. And she's like yelling at us. And she says, the police are coming. Y'all might be prosecuted. And I kid you not, boom, boom, boom. We're all crying.
Yeah.
Check it out, you guys want to cry. You guys were thought of the big shots. And we all knew. And everyone's like looking at me. Like everyone's blaming me. You're supposed to look out. Like you're dumb pieces of bleep, 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 right? I'm taking the blame like left and right. And eventually the police comes in and he schools us. He's like, this can lead you. I think he was scaring us. He's like, this could lead you to. I don't even think it's legal. I don't even know, man. Like what they've put us through. And he was like, you guys are going juvenile tonight, buddies. Y'all going juvenile tonight. And I'm like, yeah, my life is done, man.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, my life was done.
Yeah.
My Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I was the Wimpy Kid, right, at that exact moment.
You were.
And the officer is now pulling us one-on-one. He's telling us, so, like, you're going to get prosecuted. How you feel, buddy? Like, I'm, like, really feeling this emotion. And I'm just crying. I'm like, arrest me. I'm sorry. Arrest me, right? Like, am I going to see my mom? Like, don't tell the police. Like, I got a phone call. He's like, nah, get back in the conference room. And eventually they're telling us, like, your parents are going to be called. Thankfully, all their parents came. Mine's in it. My mom was working.
That's good.
Totally.
Right? And so, like, all right, you got to take this paper home, bring it back the next day with your mom. I'm scared, man. Like, I don't have a babysitter. I'm a little bit older at this moment, right? Like, I could stay home by myself kind of for a couple hours. So I'm walking home with my younger brother, and I'm looking at him. I'm like,
fuck.
dude, tonight is gonna be a rough one, pal. Tonight is a rough one. I remember mom walks in. I show her the paper. That embarrassment in my face, and my mother her face of disappointment. Yeah. The day we go to school, they're there, and her disappointment again, and she's telling the principal, right? And, like, I'm sorry, like, I don't know why this has happened. She signed this document, like, acknowledging I did this. And we're tasked to, there was, like, these black scrubs on the floor all across the elementary school because kids were, like, skidding on them. Mm-hmm. So you would get this sponge, and after school, we had, like, ISS in school suspension, and you would go mark these stuff off the hallway. So you see 7 of us, like, and to that girl who snitched on us, I love you. Right? That taught me a lesson that I will never forget in my life, right? That small theft was like everything in my life. And I think, and so when those guys did it, I didn't think they were horrible people, man. They were just
kids being kids.
And for those people, they're grown people who did that. But let's just we all learn our lesson when it's the right time for us to learn it. And unfortunately for me, it was that moment.
Yeah, you guys learned it way younger than they did.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Don't criminalize me, man. I'm not.
I know for sure.
You've never stolen Diary of One Kid ever since?
I've never written that book ever since again.
Really?
Let's say that.
All right. Well, PTSD?
PTSD.
All right. That's fine.
PTSD.
You start shaking every time you see the book.
It is funny, though, because it is like those intense, to wrap it up, there's those like intense experiences and like stories like where we feel that.
Right.
Where that really like transforms the way that you just handle situations like every time in the future, because I'm sure you've had the opportunities to steal or like screw people over and do all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
But it's from that experience like you like really understood it's like it's not worth it.
Yeah, not at all.
Absolutely, man.
Oh yeah.
No, but it's been a pleasure, guys.
Dude.
Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely phenomenal.
This is awesome.
It's been good.